Hi guys, welcome to the next video of the Struts tutorial series. In this video we will start looking into some of the important tags of Struts 2. In the UI tags we have two categories, ones which are used for data entry and ones which are used for displaying error messages. The tags that are used for data entry are called form tags. We will look into the form tags for a couple of videos. Later we will see the tags for displaying the error messages when we'll talk about the input parameters validation. Now these tags are custom tags. For checking these tags, let's try to create one demo application, something called BookAuto application where we can book an auto rickshaw. Now first user has to log in using the user ID and password, and once the user logs in they will be presented with a link to book an auto. If they click on that link, then we will ask the user the details of their pickup, and once they provide those details we will give them the options of autos available. After that we will show them their details entered. This is just a demo web app to understand Struts2 tags. Let's create one dynamic web project and name it as BookAuto. Okay, now let's add the Struts2 jar files in the web lib folder. I have these jar files here from the Hello World project. Copy this and paste it here. Now then we have to add the filter elements in the web.xml file for the Struts2 controller. That also will copy from the Hello World project which we used in our earlier videos. Okay, so now our web.xml file is ready. It has the controller, Struts2 filter. Now the next step is to create the struts.xml file, which will be the struts configuration file. Let's create it in this src folder. XML struts.xml. Now here we have to add the DTD or the doc type for this XML file. We will use the Struts 2.0 DTD. Now how to find the DTD or the doc type? Now let's open the web app libraries, explore the Struts2 core jar files. Here we'll find the DTDs. So we are planning to use this Struts 2.0.dtd. Open this, and here we can find the doc type which we can use in our struts.xml file. This one, just copy it, you can paste it here, and struts is the root tag. Now inside this struts tag, let's create two packages, one for the login and one for the booking related actions. So all the login related actions will be put in the login package, while booking related actions will be put in the booking package. For login, we will keep the namespace as slash. So all the actions for the login will start with the project context root. While for the booking, we've kept the namespace as slash booking. So the base URI for all the actions in this package will start with slash booking. Let's create one login action in the login package. This login action is just used to fetch the login.jsp using the Struts2 controller. Now instead of directly fetching it from the server, create one login.jsp. Okay, now here we will create one form using the Struts2 tag. But before we use the Struts2 custom tags in the JSP, we need to declare the tag lib and its URI to match the TLD file. Now, TLDs will have the actual class name for the Struts2 tags. So the URI for the Struts2 tags is /struts-tags. Okay, so the container will search for a TLD with URI as /struts-tags. I know the TLD for the struts tags is kept in the meta-inner folder of the struts2 core jar file. This one. Just open this. We can see the URI as /struts-tags, and it has all the information about the class corresponding to the custom tags and all the attributes of the tags. Okay, now let's get back to the login.jsp, add the tag lib. Give a prefix as s. Now we can use the struts2 custom tags using this prefix s. First we'll try to use the form tag which Struts has provided. Now there are a couple of advantages in using Struts2 form tags. One is when the input validation fails and the control comes back to the input form, then you don't have to worry about repopulating the input fields. It's actually automatically done for us. There is one more advantage where they help us in laying out the form page. They provide so many layout templates to use. Now let's code for the login page using the struts2 form tag. Let's create two input text field, one for user ID and one for password. Now the form tag has one action attribute which represents the action element in struts.xml file, and this is the action where this form will be submitted. Now by default it makes a post call, the form struts2 form tag. Now there are two text fields, one text field for user ID, one text field for password. Okay, this has to be a password. The text field and the password tags has a name attribute which maps to the actions property. So there'll be a action corresponding to this action element, and there'll be class member variables for that action, and these names should match with the member variables of that action class. We'll see that they have the label attribute by which we can provide some text for these fields. For the label attribute we can either provide hard-coded text like this, or we can provide it from resource bundle or the properties file. We will see about the resource bundle in the subsequent videos. Uh, they also have a key attribute using which the name and the label can be provided with the key attribute only. In that case, we need not provide name and the label attribute if we are using the key attribute. The key attributes also can have the hard-coded text, or it can pick it from the resource files. Okay, now let's test this out whether this login action is working fine or not. It should bring us this login.jsp first. Run it on the server. Okay, so we got an error here, which we have already seen in our previous videos also, and I had told that I will tell you how to avoid this error. Now this error is coming because we have not specified anything for the context root URL. So we have not specified any action for the context root namespace and the empty action. So it's not able to find any action element for this, and that's why it's throwing this error. Now struts provide a way to run some default action when there is no action found for some particular URL, and that is done using the default -action-ref element and giving it the name of the action element which we want to run when struts is unable to find any action element. Let's see how to do that. So for the package with the namespace slash, we want a default action ref, and here we can give the name as login. Okay, now since we are giving the name of the login action as the default action ref, so when we run our application using the context root, we would be presented with the login page. So this is the way we can avoid this error. Let's build the project again and run it on the server. Okay, so we are able to get the login page properly now with the context root URL itself because of that default action ref. Now let's add the logic of validating the user ID and password in our verify login action. So once we submit this login page, it will take us to the verify login action, but there is no verify login action in this struts.xml file. So let's create one action element for the verify login action. BookAuto.actions verify login action. Okay, now verify login action element has one action class, verify login action, which will do the verification of the user ID and password provided in the login page. Now if it is successful, then it takes us to the home page, otherwise it takes us back to the login page. We have provided one action method, verify, which will be invoked for this particular action. So when we submit that login page, then the Struts controller instantiates this verify login action class and then calls its verify method. Now inside this verify method, we actually need to do all our validation logic. Now let's create this action class. Extend it from the action support. This we have already seen our previous videos. This is a better approach to create the action classes. Now let's create two string variables to hold the user ID and password provided by the user. We should keep the name of the member variables same as the input field names. These names should match with these names. So the parameters interceptor will populate these properties with the values provided in the JSP input element. And then we should provide the getters and setters for these two properties. Otherwise parameters interceptor won't be able to populate these two fields from the input field. Now create the verify method. Here we'll put the logic of verification of the user ID and password. Here we'll do some hard coding check. I'll provide the user ID as Ratnesh and password as Ratnesh. I will check whether the user ID is Ratnesh or not. And password is Ratnesh or not. Both are Ratnesh, then we will return success. Otherwise, for other cases, we will return back to the login page. So if the login is successful and if the user has provided Ratnesh as user and user ID and password as Ratnesh, then we will go to the success. Otherwise we'll return input. So there has to be two result elements, one for success and one for input for the verify login action. Let's create two result elements for this login action. It will take us to the home.jsp. Otherwise for input it will take us to the login.jsp. Now create one home.jsp here. Here we will welcome the user with the user ID and provide a link to BookAuto. Okay, what we can do here, instead of user, we will try to fetch the user ID which was submitted by the login page and it's actually available in our verify login action class. This is the user ID. We can reference to this user ID in our home.jsp page, which is the result of this login action. We can reference that here in this home.jsp page, and to reference to any of those properties we can use the property tag, that is a struts2 property tag. So first copy the struts2 tag lib, then use its property tag to reference to the user ID. Now this user ID corresponds to the user ID property of the action class. Now the action object is actually in the value stack, so we can refer its properties by just by their name, and Struts will be able to search that property in the value stack and get it from the action object, because the action object is at the top of the stack. Run it on the server and test it out. Okay, so we got the login page. Let's give the user ID as Ratnesh, password as Ratnesh, login. Okay, so we are able to log into the home page when we are giving the user ID, when we are providing the correct user ID and password. Let's provide something else, some wrong password. Okay, now it's taking us back to the login page. So we are able to get the home page where we can book an auto for the success scenario, and we are able to get the login page when we are entering a wrong password. Okay, so this logic in verify login action is working fine for us. We will look at the rest of the application in the next video. I hope you liked this video. Thanks for watching.